Do you struggle with creating realistic Sims? Well, don't worry, I've got a great list of tips to help you out. And make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video for my secret top tip. Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new video on the channel. I'm doing something a little bit different again today. I am in CAS and I want to show you some tips that I use to make more realistic Sims and ways of using the different parts of CAS that can really bring your Sims to life. So let's get into it. So first of all, I want to go through everyday outfits. If you don't know, if you want to assign your Sims multiple different outfits, you can select this arrow above the icon for each category. And here you can see you can create up to 5 different outfits for your Sims. And what I like to do in these sections is I like to create different outfits for different seasons. I'm going to have an outfit for summer, an outfit for autumn, an outfit for winter. I might also, for this sim, I might have a career outfit in parentheses. So this sim, Marco, wants to open up his own pizza restaurant. So I thought it'd be really cool to give him this outfit with the apron. It just adds a bit more realism when I'm playing the game. I can sort of pretend and use my imagination that he is working on his restaurant, he's in the kitchen and he's knocking up all these amazing pizzas, and I just figured that would really add to my gameplay and make it feel more realistic. If I go through the other options for his everyday wear, I've got just simple trousers and a t-shirt. So this will be kind of used all year round. And then I have an outfit for when it gets a little bit cooler. So he's got a jumper on now. And the last one is more for like summertime or even springtime maybe. So he's got a pair of shorts on, he's got a jumper on. And I just feel like with this, I can keep changing his outfits according to the weather, which, you know, we all do in real life. So heading on into the formal wear. So this would be Marco's just if he was attending some sort of fancy event, a party, a hot date maybe. What I also like to do, which I feel like the majority of players have forgotten because it was such a controversial and weak pack when it was released, but if we select this shirt and then go into the accessories, we can give him, I'm not really sure what these are called. Can anyone tell me in the comments if you know what this is called? But I really like these little additions to the game. I keep forgetting that we have them, and I feel like you could really create some interesting storylines with these items. So maybe this Sim's mother loved the color purple and unfortunately they're no longer with us, and maybe this is his way of having a little shout out to his mum. I think these are really cute. And I feel like a lot of us forget that they exist. So sometimes when I'm creating my Sims, I'll create like a wedding outfit for them, and I'll just jump in and I'll add one of these and try and think of a unique storyline as to why they'll be wearing a certain color or a certain style. So that's just something to bear in mind when you're creating formal outfit. For the athletic category, what I like to do typically is I will create a version where the Sim is in shorts and some kind of t-shirt or vest, to signify that he's working out in the warmer months. And then I will also create a version where he's more covered up for when he's working out when it's colder. And again, that's just adding more realism into the game for me. So with the sleepwear, what I like to do is I will assign pajamas to my Sims, and then I will also include a version where they have slippers. So when he gets out of bed in the morning and he's in the kitchen making breakfast, or he's going for a midnight trip to the toilet, he can put his slippers on, because I hate walking around my house barefoot. So I can imagine my Sims probably feel exactly the same way. So this is just something that I advise you to do. Also, give your Sims some quirky slippers. Don't always just use the bog standard versions which came with Snowy Escape or the base game versions. You know, we've had a couple of additions in packs since then. Some of them are quite fun. You know, you can pretend he is wearing these bunny slippers, or maybe he's borrowed his girlfriend's fluffy pink slippers. There's loads of different funny storylines you can add to your Sims by changing their footwear. The next tip that I want to talk to you about is using makeup to create situations in the game. So for example, when it's hot and it's sunny and it's summertime, a lot of us get rosy cheeks, we get sunburn. So I have used a blush just to kind of create this very faint red nose and cheeks for this sim. It just adds a bit more realism to him. When you're playing, you can add a storyline that perhaps he's been out in the sun a bit too long. Again, I feel like people forget, but we've got some really funny face paints in the game, so you can add some sun cream to his face. I mean, definitely put on your sunscreen when it's summer, guys, because skin cancer is a serious issue. So that's something you could do. And I also like to create a version of my sim wearing sunglasses so that when they're outside the house, they will have this version of the outfit on, and then when they go inside, they take them off. And again, very similar with the cold weather category, I will have a standard outfit. I like to recycle clothes in my outfits as well. So if you've noticed, he's worn these jeans a few times now. They were part of his party wear, they were part of his everyday wear. I think it's really realistic to carry over the same objects into different outfits because, you know, I don't know about you, but I personally have one pair of trainers, one pair of jeans, one pair of fancy shoes, one pair of boots that I like to wear. I just kind of recycle. Also like to do a version of outdoor wear where you've got the hat, gloves, scarf. Again, I feel like people forget that these scarves are actually included in the game. I believe we got them with one of the events. So you can add a matching set. He's got black hat, black scarf, black gloves. I've also added, again, the blush on his cheeks just to kind of give him that really windswept, been outside in the snow kind of look. And then I have a version where he comes inside, he takes off his scarf, his hat and his gloves, and eventually his cheeks have returned to a normal colour. And don't forget, you know, some people have rosy cheeks all through the year. So if you wanted to create a sim that was particularly rosy in the face, you could add that blush to all of their outfits, and it just helps create a really unique character. Now looking at how I create my female sims, let me show you some tips and tricks that I've discovered and picked up along the way. So again, I like to give my female sims multiple different types of clothes. With this particular sim, I've given them a sort of relaxed Sunday look. So when she's lazing around the house and doesn't want to get all dressed up, she's in this outfit. And what I also thought was quite fun is maybe this sim wears contacts for the majority of the weeks, but then occasionally she just wants to chill out, put her glasses on. She can't be bothered with the fuss of putting contacts in. So here she is with her glasses on. And I think that again just adds a bit of storylines to your sims and realism. So moving on to the formal category for my female sims, what I like to do typically is give them a brand new hairstyle, something a bit more classy or manicured. So for this sim, I've gone for this gorgeous updo and some earrings, which are different to her everyday outfit. I will also give them an outfit for perhaps their wedding day. So I like to have a wedding attire, and then I will also create a wedding guest attire. So this is what she would wear if she was invited to a wedding or a fancy party. And as you can see, I've chosen to use the same shoes on both outfits. Again, this just adds realism for me. I don't have very many options when it comes to shoes, so I would definitely wear the same pair of shoes to a wedding or to a party. So yeah. The athletic, again, I've gone for a version of clothes that she would wear when it's cold outside, and a version that she would wear when it's warmer. So in the sleepwear category for female sims, I like to add a couple of different options. So I will think about what she'd be wearing if she was trying to impress someone. And then I would also be thinking about what she'd be wearing to bed on just an average everyday night. So this is a very sexy kind of look. And then I've also got the really relaxed t-shirt and shorts for when you're just lounging in bed. I've added a slippered version, and then I've also added a super sexy version. Again, it's just adding storylines and realism and something different. So yeah, I've got her party wear. And what I like about this outfit is that if we go back to her everyday outfit, I've used the same jewelry in her party wear. You would recycle the same jewelry, the same bracelets, you know? And I like that about my Sims. It's cohesive, it works, it's realistic. So with her swimwear, she has a version for going to the pool, she's got a version for just lounging poolside, wearing some sandals, and I've got a sandal version of the first outfit as well. So for the hot weather categories, I've added again the same jewelry, and I've added her sunglasses. If I go into her face here, we can see that there's again a very faint blush, just for that kind of sun-kissed look. But again, you can go into the face paint and you can add suntan lotion. Very important. Finally, her cold weather attire. So typically what I will try to do, and it's way more easier for female presenting Sims than masculine Sims, I try to use outfits that look like a coat's been taken off. So if we look here, we can see that she has this brown sweater underneath this jacket. She's got her hat, she's got her gloves. I've tried to find a top that's as near to the first option as possible. So it looks like she's come inside, she's taken off her hat and her coat and her gloves, and she's now comfortable inside. And I've also got another variation. This top we've used in a previous outfit, so it's just bringing in, she has a wardrobe and she recycles her clothes, which I think all of us do. And finally, if you've stayed tuned to the end of this video, which I am so grateful for, I want to show you a quick little hidden feature that I'm pretty sure most people aren't aware of. In the nails category, if you scroll down to the bottom, there are these very strange nails, and what most people don't realize is that if you cycle through the swatches, there's a couple of different options. So I think these are supposed to signify sort of like dirty fingernails, but again, it helps to create storylines. So I always pick this version for my male Sims because I feel like they need fingernails, and Sims' hands look a little bit strange without fingernails. So I always add this variation to my Sims. And the best thing about it is that it blends in with the skin tone, so it looks really realistic. But if I wanted to create maybe a farmer Sim or a Sim that enjoys gardening, you know, I might give them this version of the Sim with their everyday outfits or their outside outfit. It creates realism. If your Sim is out in the field and he's milking cows and he's planting cabbages, he's gonna get dirt under his nails. So why not add that to your Sim? I feel like my Sim, though, being in the food career, he should probably wash his hands and keep them nice and clean. And again, if we go into the fingernails category, using the same tip as we did with Marco, we've added these nails. They are so real looking, they're really well done. They blend in with her skin tone. Of course, if you wanted her to have short nails, you could do that. I think she's a very classy Sim who would have nice long manicured fingernails, so I've added them to each of her outfits. And that's it. Those are my top tips for creating more realistic Sims. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, drop them in a comment. I would love to hear your feedback, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Speak to you soon. Bye.